For most people, tonight is just another ordinary evening in Delaware, Ohio, in the United States of America. However, a very odd thing happened to the scientists. A high-frequency radio signal was continuously emitted from the solar system from the direction of a star. The Big Ear signal was received from a height of 30 meters, which extended from the sky to another parabolic mirror and then to a significant portion of the universe. It was unfortunate that no scientists or engineers were present in the control room to witness this moment. In contrast to the Hollywood film, the only sound coming from the dark room was an IBM 1130 computer. Other printouts covered the printout after it fell into the tray. It did, however, capture unquestionable proof of a remarkable radio signal that people had just received. Shortly thereafter, a technician delivered the printouts to the home of renowned American astronomer Jerry Eman. Fortunately, Jerry appeared to notice the difference through the mirror. He used his red pen to carefully compare the various numbers. The majority of the numbers, which represented the radio signal the machine received, had little meaning. Letters were used to represent numbers that were greater than 9. For instance, the letters A, B, and C were used to represent the numbers 10, 11, and 12, respectively. Eman then noticed the letter 6E with the letter U among a string of numbers. Scientists were surprised by the unusually large signal on the letter 6E. He claimed to have recorded a string of words using the letter WOW and circled the letter 6E. There was now a historical symbol attached to that string of letters. The WOW signal continues to push the boundaries of human comprehension and remain the most enigmatic signal to this day. Few people think it's a radio signal sent to humans by a high-level alien civilization. Furthermore, humans have previously been able to record the odd radio signals that the universe sends. However, what exactly are those signals? Who dispatched them? Is there anything else we haven't discovered yet? Today's video will focus on the WOW signal, the mystery surrounding it for over 50 years, and other odd signals. Let's start by briefly discussing radio signals. Humans constantly gather radio signals from the sky, and this is very significant. We even use this material to study the universe in a branch of astronomy called radio astronomy. Yes, exactly, humans continue to gather radio signals from the cosmos on a daily basis, and they appear to be nothing exceptional. However, Big Air's discovery of the WOW signal is a completely different situation. It displays previously unobserved features. The WOW has a very strong signal on the magnet, which is its first feature. The second characteristic is that a particular frequency is assigned to a particular number. It is linked to the signals in every range, which is the third feature. The final characteristic is its undeniable continuity. The magnet's strong signal indicates that a natural movement is not likely to be the cause. The WOW signal has a magnitude that is more than 30 times greater than the surrounding magnet, the highest that humans have been able to detect. It is impossible to characterize the output of a random movement to this outcome because it is so tiny. Astronomy cannot handle that number. Even if our observatory runs for 1,000 billion years, we won't be able to pick up such a random signal. Nothing in statistics can lead us to interpret this signal as chance. The WOW signal frequency is nearly identical to 1420 MHz at the second and third features. Another name for it is the hydro wave. People have long thought that an extraterrestrial civilization could use this frequency. However, what makes this hydro wave unique? Why do people think that aliens use it? Scientists have hypothesized that if there is an extraterrestrial civilization in the universe, they can search for other intelligent civilizations once their technological level reaches a certain point. That's what we're still doing, right? They will most likely transmit data to the universe during their search in order to forecast how other civilizations will react. Then, since electromagnetic waves are the universe's best information carrier, they will most likely be given priority. However, we are unable to observe every layer of electromagnetic waves in space because of our limited technological capabilities. Therefore, the layers of alien civilization that are most likely to be utilized must be selected. Now, the question is, what frequency should we pick? Researchers have devoted a great deal of time to developing various solutions. They first came to the conclusion that the super-smooth transition of neutrinos releases an electromagnetic wave with a particular frequency. When neutrinos transition extremely smoothly, an electromagnetic wave with a frequency of 1420 MHz will be released. Its response wavelength at this frequency is roughly 21 centimeters. Thus, it is even referred to by scientists as the 21 centimeter hydrogen spectrum. The majority of the universe is a vast, low-temperature, low-pressure, and low-atmospheric region. As you should be aware, all atoms and particles have basic energy levels that are barely visible in the light. The dark areas are the low material areas. We have a difficult time finding, observing, and studying them scientifically. Hydrogen, on the other hand, is a rare element found all over the universe. There are many neutrinos, even in the dark regions. Thus, the 21 centimeter neutrino spectrum has developed into a potent instrument for space travel. It is still widely used today in fields like radio astronomy. Therefore, it is logical to assume that once technology and an alien society advance to a certain point, they will be able to recognize and pay attention to the 21 centimeter neutrino spectrum with ease. This means that they can use 21 centimeter electromagnetic waves, which have the same wavelength as the 21 centimeter neutrino spectrum, to transmit information to other intelligent civilizations in the universe. There are additional benefits to employing electromagnetic waves that are 21 centimeters in length. These electromagnetic waves are found in a particular region of the radio spectrum and are difficult for the universe's surface to block out. Due to their longer wavelength, these electromagnetic waves can travel farther through space's gas and dust with ease. Furthermore, they can effortlessly traverse a planet's atmosphere and come into contact with its surface. It is clear that these advantages will make it more likely that extraterrestrial civilizations will employ these electromagnetic waves. Stable and continuous signals for 72 seconds are the fourth and most crucial feature. Every feature points to an alien signal generator. In addition, it is a very strong generator. However, the fact that the WOW signal has not been identified since 1977 remains one of the greatest mysteries to date. Why do aliens only send out a sequence of signals once before ceasing? Maybe this man will respond to us in a sensible way. Antonio Perry, an astronomer from the University of St. Petersburg, is the individual we are seeing. He has found an explanation and a suitable proof that the WOW signal was produced by an astronomer. The Washington Academy of Science published this statement. The WOW signal was created by an astronomer who goes by the names 266P Chris Tencent and 335P Gibbs. This astronomer is thought to have produced the hydrogen clouds that encircle them and extend over an area of millions of kilometers in diameter. Remember what we just examined, too. The WOW signal was found at 1420 MHz, which is the frequency that hydrogen emits when it undergoes a natural energy state change. When a large amount of hydrogen concentrates around the cloud and emits this frequency, nothing is difficult. But a lot of people think this is insufficient to draw a conclusion, even at the closest point to the Sun. 266P Chris Tencent actually doesn't do much. But after looking at the astronomical data, Perry's team came to the same conclusion. Do you think this explanation makes sense? Will the WOW signal be the subject of any more intriguing research in the future? We are inspired to decode hundreds of odd signals from planets and other stars by the efforts. Even though we were unable to decode the WOW signal, a wide range of signals have been detected recently, from the SETI Institute for Extraterrestrial Civilization Research to amateur researchers. The Phoenix project is SETI's most ambitious endeavor to date, and it uses a wireless telescope system to detect signals. Everything is focused on locating extraterrestrial intelligence as thoroughly and precisely as possible. 3 of the largest wireless telescopes in the world are still owned by SETI: the 64-meter Parkes telescope in Australia, the 40-meter National Wireless Observatory in West Virginia, and the 300-meter Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. With financial assistance from Microsoft co-founder Paul Arlen, they have also constructed the wireless telescope Arlen Array. And when we consistently receive promising signals, it appears that people's efforts are being matched. Astronomers recently stumbled upon a mysterious signal emanating from Charles South Guildham, 15,000 light-years away from us, while examining historical data. Every 22 minutes, the signal consists of a sequence of wireless streams that last between 30 and 300 seconds. Even more astounding is the fact that this fixed-time signal originated in the Earth in 1988 and has continued to exist for 35 years. Astronomers are still unsure of the origin of this enigmatic signal, though. Since this wireless stream's features are so peculiar, theories and hypotheses are unable to adequately explain it. These signals from extraterrestrial civilization are the most intriguing and straightforward explanation for inquisitive internet users. However, this possibility is always the last option for astronomers. After all, there are still a lot of unidentified natural phenomena in the universe that are difficult to attribute to extraterrestrial life. In actuality, a large number of electromagnetic signals are sent to Earth daily. The majority of them can be traced back to the actions of stars and other celestial bodies. However, there are some notable distinctions between this signal and the wireless signal. Neutron stars are stars that rotate quickly and with a high degree of confidence. They release rays of electromagnetic energy. We can receive signals from the rays as they travel through the Earth. The neutron star signal, on the other hand, is a very unique star that is created by stars that undergo a supernova explosion at the conclusion of their evolutionary process. The star's core loses equilibrium and the outer layers of matter fall into it, creating extreme pressure, when it runs out of fuel and is unable to sustain the nuclear reaction. This pressure will cause the protons and electrons in the nucleus to combine to form neutrons if the star is big enough. The magnitude of the neutron star is extremely high. Its radius is only 10 to 20 kilometers, but its mass is typically between 1.4 and 2 times that of the Sun. Furthermore, the neutron star rotates at a very high speed. This is because, despite a significant decrease in radius, the original star's angular mass is still present. The law of conservation of angular mass states that the rotational speed will increase. The neutron star's rotational speed varies greatly, ranging from a few milliseconds to dozens of seconds. In a second, the fastest neutron star can rotate hundreds of times. The neutron star has a very strong market because of its mass and rotational speed advantages. The free electrons in the neutron star create its market. There are still some protons and electrons on the surface and inside the neutron star. Despite the fact that I just stated that the majority of its matter is neutrons, these electrons will produce a powerful current due to the neutron star's rapid rotation, which will in turn create a market. They can emit various electron levels, mostly from their poles, like a beam of light due to their strong market and high rotation speed. We are able to receive radio signals when this light beam moves along the axis of the Earth. Generally speaking, young stars have short radio signals and rotate quickly, whereas older stars have long radio signals and rotate slowly. This is a result of the star's rotation, which causes them to slow down over time. The neutron star's slow rotation is caused by the fact that it will continue to release energy from the outside as it rotates, depleting its initial amount. A portion of this energy is lost in the material field, but the majority is lost under the electromagnetic field. For instance, its surface emits positrons and electrons, or plasma emits particles. This substance produces an oscillatory phenomenon that interacts with the surrounding star's environment to produce an oscillatory structure. We have many questions regarding the signal originating from the Scuddom star. The behavior of this enigmatic signal appears to be at odds with the definition of ancient theory if it originates from the neutron star. The neutron star must rotate extremely quickly if the light beam is strong enough to be seen on Earth. The speed of rotation is slower than 1,000 times, but our skepticism appears to be a mystery. Second, this signal's duration is excessively long, up to 22 minutes, far longer than is known. Lastly, at 35 years old, this signal has been present for far too long and shows no signs of slowing down or deteriorating. Another question is whether this is consistent with the neutron star's energy loss and the rotation law. The object under observation might be a white dwarf star rather than a neutron star. A common star created when low-mass stars die is called a white dwarf star. White dwarf stars are significantly larger than neutron stars because they are in the electromagnetization state rather than the neutron magnetization state. This causes a white dwarf star to rotate more slowly than a neutron star in accordance with the law of orbit conservation. A powerful magnetic field may be produced by a mechanism akin to that of an asteroid inside a white dwarf star in certain theoretical models. white dwarfs with such high confidence can also produce comparable radio waves. The slow rotation, radio resonance, and magnetic field of this white dwarf star model appear to account for the enigmatic 35-year-old signal. This explanation is still a little ambiguous. Although there is theoretical support for this model, there is currently no proof that such a white dwarf star exists, and its radio wavelength is far weaker than the signal that we can detect. More observations and investigation are needed to uncover the truth about this peculiar uniform signal, which remains an unsolved mystery to this day. It might be a brand new celestial body, an unidentified natural phenomenon, or an unimaginable extraterrestrial civilization. The world was once again a star in 2022, when a very odd signal was picked up by China's radio wavelength. The largest radio wavelength in the world is Sky-I from China. After a few years of operation, its potent ability not only surprises but also draws attention from the scientific community. A 2022 report claims that Sky-I actually made an observation by detecting an enigmatic radio wavelength. It used to be possible to predict these signals from alien civilizations. Scientists are still debating whether or not there are genuinely intelligent life forms close to Earth in light of this discovery. A significant advancement in detecting signals from extraterrestrial civilizations for human exploration in a new dimension has been made possible by the Sky-I project. After observing the data, the researchers analyzed it using the most cutting-edge signal processing technology. They eventually succeeded in fusing an unusual signal with an alien source. The characteristics of artificial interference are evident in these highly complex signals. They gave them the temporary moniker HEM, which stands for first-time signal. Scientists found a particular model for these signals after a more thorough examination. However, one of them displayed a frequency that was comparable to the previous WOW signal. Scientists think it is impossible to rule out the possibility of signals from extraterrestrial civilizations, even though the precise source of these signals has not yet been identified. Initially, they also used wireless spectroscopes or big radios to communicate with us. Science has advanced over time. We have received an incalculable number of signals. Even when we are aware of their origin, decoding them is a very challenging task. For instance, there is an enigmatic radio signal emanating from the very center of the universe. Although we are unable to pinpoint the precise activity that produced this signal, it is most likely the result of the universe's natural activity. As you can see on the screen, the object's secret signal is named based on the night sky's magnitude. With their innumerable messages, signals have given scientists headaches and continue to do so. The more widely held belief is that supermassive black holes in the universe's center are the source of radio signals. Supermassive black holes are strong, enigmatic cosmic objects. They are characterized by their enormous quantity and remarkable beauty. Scientists have discovered a supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way, sometimes referred to as the universe's center. It's a very active supermassive black hole. It is among the heaviest known black holes, with an average mass of roughly 4 million solar masses. It is well known that black holes are very alluring and have the capacity to absorb materials from their surroundings. Black holes can, however, simultaneously emit a significant amount of energy and electromagnetic waves. This occurs as a result of the material close to the black hole absorbing powerful and alluring waves, which results in acceleration, collision, and rotation. Radio signals can be produced by these effects. Due to the influence of strong and attractive magnetic fields, scientists have found that radio signals from the Milky Way center frequently have very unique characteristics: high energy, high frequency, very short wavelength, and significant wavelength change are characteristics of these signals. Signals from other celestial bodies are obviously different. This discrepancy has raised questions about whether these radio signals originate from the Milky Way's central black hole. Its radio waves are thought to be connected to radio signals from the Milky Way's central black hole. Certain substances can be pushed by a black hole at high speeds to create radio waves when they fall into it. Many radio signals that change very slowly can be produced by these waves. This shift could result from modifications to the black hole's speed, direction, and material concentration. According to a different theory, radio signals from the Milky Way's center originate from the stars themselves. More precisely, strong magnetic fields in the Milky Way, star dust, and star gas clouds will all have an impact on radio signals from the stars during transmission. Accuracy is lost and signals become distorted as a result. These stars' radio signals will interact with certain unique phenomena occurring at the Milky Way's center to produce enigmatic signals that we can see. Numerous features of star radio signals enable us to ascertain whether the transmission of enigmatic signals at the Milky Way's center is due to star radio signals. First, there is a wide band characteristic, or more simply, a wide spectrum of signals, in the radio signals coming from the stars. Second, because the signals are impacted by distorted factors in various planets during transmission, the distorted features of radio signals from the stars are coincidental. Furthermore, radio signals from the stars interact suddenly rather than continuously. The interaction signals are only visible to us for a limited amount of time. Our studies of radio communication and radio astronomy are somewhat impacted by the interference of radio signals from the stars. It is challenging for us to improve communication with extraterrestrial intelligence because of these distorted signals. Scientists are still working to effectively separate actual radio signals from stars using a variety of technologies, despite the existence of distortions. We should be able to analyze and explain the interaction of radio signals between stars more precisely in the future as technology advances and tools and equipment improve. Deeper understanding of the true source of enigmatic radio signals in the galaxy's core will also be revealed. Last but not least, the enigmatic signals emanating from planetary nebulae in the galaxy's center have sparked intense scientific interest. A cloud of matter encircling a star forms the planetary nebula, a unique celestial structure in the universe that resembles a planet. Radio signals can be used to detect and transmit these planetary nebulae, which frequently emit light. Planetary nebula formation is a complicated process. A star will turn into a red giant star and then a white dwarf star as it approaches expiration. The star will create a cloud of gas and release a lot of matter into the surrounding space during this process. The star's nebula can transmit radio signals because of the interaction between the cloud matter and the nebula, which produces a hot zone. Nebulae can reveal a great deal of information. First, scientists can identify the cloud's composition by looking at the nebula. The nebula's composition frequently consists of elements like carbon, oxygen, helium, hydro, and occasionally other light elements. Scientists can learn more about the star's structure and formation by analyzing these components, which can also yield significant hints about the star's evolution. Additionally, planetary nebulae can reveal details about the nebula's formation and motion. Scientists can forecast how the nebula will grow and contract around the star by tracking its changes. By revealing the movement processes within the nebula, these movement models can help us comprehend how planetary nebulae form and change over time. However, because planetary nebulae are frequently found at great distances, it is not always simple to detect them because radio signals gradually lose frequency as they travel. Additionally, radio signal transmission may be hampered by Earth's atmosphere. To get useful observation results, scientists must thus employ sophisticated observation tools and precise data technology. The existence of the nebula will always be a significant chapter in the history of human science. Regardless of the answer, it will inspire a lot of people to commit themselves to scientific study and keep creating new avenues for human progress. Occasionally, however, nebula signals originate from sources other than space. There is a signal on Earth that has been sending for 40 years, but no one has been able to figure out what it is trying to say. Russia sent the buzzer to draw the attention of scientists and the international intelligence community. The broadcast frequency of this signal, 4,625 kHz, is the focus of several hypotheses and predictions. It comes from a Russian military installation close to Moscow. The current situation, however, indicates that this signal has shifted and that there are numerous other oddities in the way it is transmitted. According to the theories put forth, it is a holdover from the Cold War until an alien is connected to a device. Radio technology expert Professor Davis Topals confirmed that the Russian government's intentions are still being kept secret and that the true purpose of the signal remains a mystery. The signal's intensity and complexity demonstrate that it is more significant than a typical signal. When UVB-76 was identified as the first signal, a number of theories were generated, ranging from plausible to lurid. including the Japanese nuclear weapons, mind control, and the UFO connection. Every explanation captures the fear and imagination of the people in that era. However, scientists and radio enthusiasts have collaborated to analyze the signal's peculiar points. From the beep and horn to the inadvertent reading of a name and number to discover a code or secret message. A complex and multifaceted signal is displayed by the range of broadcast programs. This has led to an increasing number of theories. Some people think it's a dead-hand system, a mechanism that triggers a nuclear reaction automatically if it detects a nuclear attack in Russia, or a secret for spies. When it ceases broadcasting, some claim it is a dead hand of the Soviet Union that will launch a nuclear strike in the West. Number Auditus's web browser, Erwin Bonder, shares. Some claim that it is a psychological control mechanism that Russians can use to manipulate their thoughts, or that it is a guided signal for UFOs. The signal's true function is still a closely guarded secret, though. Perhaps only a small number of Russian troops or government officials are aware of it. As Russian students Igor and SS begin their quest to discover the answer within themselves, the buzzer's allure grows stronger. The signal led him to an odd abandoned location close to the Estonian border. Here, he encountered some unexpected people and discovered some documents. Destroyed buildings and ripped cables are among the SS discoveries, indicating that this base once played a significant part in signal transmission but appears to have ceased, which is making matters worse. Thus, the space signal that is frequently discussed is real. It's unfortunate that people lack the intelligence to comprehend what they may be attempting to convey. Lastly, as with all mysteries, time may have to tell us the most accurate answer. Do you believe that another highly developed civilization would genuinely wish to speak with us, or would prefer to merely watch and then use signals to indicate their presence? In order to welcome friendly visitors, people are attempting to locate those civilizations using radio, satellite, laser, and other means. That concludes today.